You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
These two Sarasota men are facing child neglect charges this morning for allegedly leaving children in a hot car. More Florida firefighters heading west to help battle destructive wildfires in the Northwest. And magical news for Disney workers, the new offer that could change their future. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. And good morning. Hello, early risers. I'm Ray Collins. It is August 24th, Friday. Stephanie is off today. John Scalzi wishes he was off today, but he's not.
Saturday is just around the corner. Fridays are good. We're looking at a few scattered showers out in the Gulf. Nothing that's going to threaten us near the coastline this morning. The easterly wind flow is establishing itself, and that generally will take us right back to the kind of afternoon thunderstorms that we're used to in the summer around here. It'll also help, I think, with some of the red tide smells that we're getting far inland, actually, because we've had a west wind. So we reverse that wind and things improve. 76 degrees in Parrish, Wauchula coming in at 76, 77 Mayaca City, Venice at 79. Rainfall futurecast shows most of the shower activity building in inland areas a little bit later on this afternoon. Of course, those storms that do build will drift back to the coast, so we have a good chance of showers. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, it's a day. Talk to you soon. Thank you, John. Here's the live camera right now out in the community. This is at US 301 and State Road 70. Not too much traffic right there now, but it'll continue to build. That's certainly one of the busiest spots that we talk about each and every day. This is just north of the Sarasota County line in the southern section of Manatee County. Let's check the maps right now. You don't see much going on there on the map. Going to cross-check that. A little build-up there on 301 southbound as you head back down toward University Parkway. Checking our next map, this is the northern half of Sarasota County. A little build-up there behind the words Bee Ridge Road. That's westbound around Cattleman as you head toward Honore. Otherwise pretty clear. And then checking our final map to the south, only red I see there is way down there at Tuscola Boulevard if you're traveling in Northport. A Sarasota father and son are behind bars this morning facing child neglect charges. Police say they found a 4-year-old and 2-year-old unresponsive in the back of their car on the eastern end of Main Street in downtown Sarasota last Friday. It was during the day when temperatures reached the 90s. 51-year-old Paul Hoole and his 22-year-old son Paul III were allegedly passed out drunk in the front seat. When crews arrived, both men and children were visibly sweating and pale. The adults were arrested and the kids were taken to the Department of Children and Families.
The reason we were called is because thankfully a Good Samaritan who happened to be passing by noticed that something wasn't right and called 911 immediately. Had that person not called 911, this outcome could have been a lot different.
The car had to be running, and Kathy, the mother, said she went out there twice checking on him, and the car was running with the air conditioner. And then I don't believe it because nobody could sit in that car for that long and survive.
Well, police say believe it. They say they found 2 bottles of alcohol, an open beer, and also a drug called dextroamphetamine. They're facing 2 charges of child neglect without great bodily harm, and the 51-year-old is also facing a drug charge as well. Happening today, a special blood drive for the daughter of a Sarasota police detective in honor of 4-year-old Evelyn, who just finished chemotherapy for acute lymphoblastic leukemia. SPD is hosting a blood drive and also a Be the Match registry drive. It's today from 10 till 3 at the Sarasota Police Headquarters near Payne Park in Sarasota. The Florida Forest Service is sending more firefighters to battle wildfires out west. 20 more firefighters are deploying to Oregon to help contain fires in that area. This year, the Florida Forest Service has sent nearly 400 firefighters to help battle fires across the country. Back in this area, plans are moving forward now on a new hotel in the city of Venice. And though many say the area needs it, there are some who say, not in my backyard.
This 4-story, 86-room hotel will be the newest addition to the South County area. The Town Place Suites by Marriott will be on Jacaranda Boulevard, just southeast of I-75, behind Fairfield Inn and Suites, another hotel also owned by Marriott. Plus, this vacation destination will be bringing a retail shopping plaza with it, and the remainder of the now empty land on this street will also be sold for small commercial businesses.
Hotels are very much needed in this area for the various events that happen, and families come into the area for their vacations. It's a wonderful idea, plus all the employment that the hotel and the shopping mall will they'll be able to employ a lot of people, so that's a good thing for the area.
But here's the only problem. At the end of this street, an auto dealership will also be built, and directly intersecting the boulevard on Venice Avenue is the proposed Venice Regional Hospital. So residents who live around here feel like they're being sandwiched in, especially because all these properties were originally only supposed to be residential.
Just going to snowball, and people that are supposed to be taking care of the residential areas around here have no remorse about what they're doing whatsoever. It's just a developer-friendly society, and we are the victims of it. The residential people are victims.
Aside from congestion and a more city-like feel, many are worried about the traffic that all these new businesses will cause in an already very busy intersection.
And that is our new South County Bureau reporter, Rebecca Fernandez, reporting. Well, many of you are retired or thinking about the day when you can retire, right? Here are 5 tips for a better financial future from USA Today. First off, coordinate with your spouse to figure out your total income in retirement. Next, estimate your Social Security income so you'll know your benefit amount at full retirement age. Third, look at your savings and use the 4% rule, which lets you withdraw 4% annually. And fourth, budget. Compare your expenses to your income to be sure you'll be living comfortably. And last, make a plan for health care, as Medicare does not cover everything. Employees of Disney World will soon have help paying for additional schooling. The Walt Disney Company says they'll pay your way in full if you want to get an advanced degree, finish high school, or learn a trade. Disney Aspire is the company's new education initiative that offers to pay 100% of a worker's tuition up front rather than reimbursements. The company will spend $50 million this year and $25 million next year on this new Aspire program. About 80,000 hourly workers will be eligible for the free tuition offer. It'll also pay for application fees, textbooks, and other materials. Still ahead, Hawaii bracing for Hurricane Lane. As high winds, rain, and waves strengthen this morning, we'll look at where it is now and where it could be going. It is 6:07 on this Friday morning. There's the intersection of 10th and Lemon, here just north of downtown Sarasota. All eyes on the weekend forecast, and here's the messenger, meteorologist John Scalzi.
Indeed, it is Friday, and you may want to take a walk on the beach this evening. Well, you'll have a few thunderstorms around as inland storms drift back toward the coast. Sunset quality about 2 beach balls out of 4. And the red tide status shows, well, pretty quiet conditions along the area beaches with the winds out of the east, but the smell of the red tide is still pretty strong. Holmes Beach, Nokomis, Minnesota, Gasparilla all showing moderate amounts of irritant in the air, and the other beaches, intense amounts. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When there's the potential for severe weather, you need to know fast. Trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather to get you the information you need right away. We focus on the storms that impact where you live, and we're committed to alerting you with important information as soon as we get it. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC 7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Get more for your money during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Sunset Subaru. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease a new Subaru Impreza today for just $182 a month, or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
What do you get when you cross your tired, aching back with this fragile egg? The Egg Sitter Cushion, an amazing new flex cushion that supports your backside and spine so well you can sit on an egg without breaking it. Incredible!
You want me to sit on this egg? Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even feel it. It didn't even break. Oh, I was wondering about that. Now that's a good cushion.
The honeycomb design is constructed of Elasticor that absorbs pressure points by collapsing in on itself. That's why even this egg won't break under direct pressure. Now long days at the office will be more comfortable, dinner more enjoyable, and painful car rides a thing of the past. Get your Egg Sitter Support Cushion for just $39.99. It comes with a free non-slip washable cover and our 10-year comfort guarantee. But wait, call right now and you can get a second cushion. Just pay separate fee. Call now.
Call 1-800-232-1564. That's 1-800-232-1564. Call now or go to eggsitter.com. Order now.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're watching quiet conditions on the Suncoast currently with a 76-degree air temperature and a dew point value warm at 75, making it feel very humid outside. But the east-southeast wind, light at about 3, continues to keep the showers at bay off the coastline. So I don't think we'll see much in the way of rainfall during the morning hours. As we get into later morning and early afternoon, we'll see about a 20% chance of a few of the showers working their way along the coastline and then building into inland areas along the interstate. As we head into the 3 p.m. time frame, a good chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms from the interstate eastward build and expand and become fairly strong storms, then gradually drift back to the coast as we head into the evening. About a 40% chance of that as they die out. The forecast calls for, again, a good chance of rain each and every day this weekend. A lot of moisture in the air, as evidenced by the echoes that are already in progress out in the Atlantic waters and Gulf waters. The heaviest of the moisture in the atmosphere, the thickest of the moisture, is in the southern tip of the state, but still, it extends into our area as well. There are those few scattered showers out in the Gulf that I was mentioning, and again, their motion is very slight, and if anything, a slow drift out toward the east. So not a big bother for our area roadways this morning. We have had a westerly wind, and that has taken some of that smell from the red tide and pushed a good distance inland. As you heard this morning, even Mayaca smelled the fish smell in the air, the decaying fish smell. Well, now things are changing. They're going back to what we would typically see at this time of year, which is a big ridge of high pressure to our north, bringing us a more easterly wind. And that tends to fire up the thunderstorms in the center part of the state and then give them a slow drift back toward our coastline as we head into the evening. There'll be some storms that produce lots of lightning and some fairly heavy downpours of rain this weekend, so watch for that. If you're out and about and look off to the east and see those thunderstorms building, why, you want to grab your First Alert Weather app and check out their motion and just how many of them are producing lightning pops. Light easterly wind today will be a building wind and become stronger over the weekend. We're kind of in a transition day today. We'll have west moving storms. They build inland, they drift back toward the coast. And we'll have some pretty good weekend rain chances, I think, for everyone. If you look at where the rain showers are going to be heaviest, it will be in inland areas. That's not to say you couldn't say a few pops of lightning near the coastline too, but most of the thunderstorm activity will be inland. Satellite view shows quiet in the tropics, Caribbean, Gulf waters, near Atlantic. All look pretty tame for us. Hardly a cloud in the sky most anywhere, and that's pretty remarkable for this time of year. But we do have one area coming off the coast of Africa we continue to monitor, about a 10% chance over a 5-day period of development. This is Lane. Lane, as you notice, it's becoming more difficult to find the eye of the storm in these latest satellite images. That is because it is tending to decrease in intensity, getting a little bit sheared. You can see how lopsided it becomes in these last few frames. It is in the process of decaying. Still a Category 3 storm with 120-mile-an-hour winds. It's certainly nothing to sneeze at. A lot of rain showers across the Hawaiian island chain possible, but the forecast is for it to make a hard turn this afternoon. They'll be watching for that very carefully. Decrease in intensity to a Category 1 storm and then move out into the open waters of the Pacific. We look for a southwest wind at about 5 knots this afternoon as the sea breeze builds, and then returning to an easterly wind during the overnight. 50% chance of showers today, 60% tomorrow. Sunday about a 50%. Best time for a rain-free condition, probably in the morning and in the early afternoon. As you head into the later afternoon and evening, the rain chances will go up. And next week, rain chances at about 40 or 50% each day. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. It is 6:15 on your Friday morning, and here are our maps right now. Little build up there up on State Road 64 westbound as you're traveling through West Bradenton. Otherwise, not too bad so far in Manatee County. Checking farther south, little blip there on Bee Ridge, eastbound from Honore in toward Cattleman and the interstate. 41 southbound there at the base of your screen as you go past the Target Plaza down there and Sarasota Central Parkway. Checking farther south now, our final map will reveal a little bit of a slowdown there on 681 as you get off I-75 and head toward the Laurel and Nokomis area. A former Lakewood Ranch athlete continues his successful pro football career. Dominique Rogers-Cromartie is leaving the Giants to play for the Raiders now. He's made the Pro Bowl twice. He's played 10 years with Arizona, Philadelphia, Denver, and the past 4 with the New York Giants. Well, it took 4 men, 1 Harley and 3 Davidsons to begin that company years ago. And now this year, it took 3 different brewers to craft a beer to celebrate the company's 115th anniversary. The limited edition Harley Davidson Lager is made with malts grown in Milwaukee to honor the city that calls it home. Harley riders are a tight bunch, and one brewer says it was the same with them when they joined forces to create this special recipe.
The brewers really quickly, and we're all about the kumbaya in our industry is really fun. We all like to brew together.
Well said. You can grab a pint at the Harley-Davidson Museum or at bars throughout Wisconsin. Hurricane Lane is pounding Hawaii at this hour. The slow-moving storm has already dumped more than 2 feet of rain in some areas. ABC's Candace Gibson has the latest.
Unreal, huh? More than 20 inches of rain already drenching parts of Hawaii as Hurricane Lane closes in. The downpours triggering landslides and flash flooding on the Big Island.
You can see major flooding here in progress. The water is several feet deep out ahead of us.
The powerful hurricane packing winds of up to 130 miles an hour. This morning, forecasters keeping a close watch on its track, saying it likely won't make landfall, but still could lash the islands with severe storm surge, another 20 inches of rain and damaging winds. ABC's Gio Benitez in Honolulu.
Look, we are here in Waikiki Beach. We are seeing these waves get bigger and bigger, and we just heard a lifeguard here on a megaphone saying to get out of the water because it's just too dangerous.
There's a lot of uncertainty. What is for sure, though, is that Hawaii is going to be impacted by Hurricane Lane. The question is how bad.
People facing long lines and empty shelves at supermarkets as they make final preparations.
We are scared. We are concerned about the storm.
For some of the 300,000 tourists in Hawaii this morning, shelters are their only refuge.
We were very afraid of the storm, and in France we don't have storm like that, so we decided not to stay near the beach and to go to the shelter.
Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, is coconut oil really that healthy for you? We'll find out when we come back.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself.
Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
If you were here last September, this might give you some deja vu from Hurricane Irma that came across Florida. This is the live radar right now of Hurricane Lane approaching Miami. Once again, more than 20 inches of rain drenching parts of Hawaii. Downpours triggered landslides and flash flooding on the Big Island as well. This is the same area, of course, that had the volcanic eruption still causing issues there. So certainly a tough time for our 50th state way out there in the Pacific Ocean. And wiping back to our area, here is the local scene. Pretty quiet out there right now. John Scalzi will update us on the forecast and also the red tide winds, which can make all the difference. If those winds are in the right direction or wrong direction, can certainly change your outdoor habits. 6:22 right now. Sony is bringing back its super smart four-legged robotic companion to the U.S. You can get your own robot dog beginning next month. The dog debuted in Japan back in the 1990s. It's equipped with facial recognition technology and artificial intelligence, so it can even develop a personality. It's not cheap. The cost is nearly, ready, $3,000. A parasite infection outbreak linked to McDonald's salads has now affected 500 customers nationwide. The Centers for Disease Control say people in 16 states have gotten sick from the intestinal illness. It can last anywhere from several days to a few months. The FDA says an unused package of Fresh Express salad mix tested positive for the parasite. Last month, McDonald's said it had removed the mix from impacted restaurants. People are using coconut oil for everything these days, but a Harvard professor calls it pure poison. She says it is saturated fat content and a threat to cardiovascular health. She says coconut oil raises cholesterol levels. Now, health experts say coconut oil is fine occasionally, but for day-to-day use, they suggest vegetable oils like olive, canola, or soybean instead. New details this morning now on the killings of a mother and 2 daughters in Colorado. A video has surfaced of her husband, the suspect, offering relationship advice. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has our first look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, 6 years before he was charged for the murders of his pregnant wife and 2 daughters, Chris Watts posted this video on his YouTube channel of a presentation he gave about why relationships fail for a communications class. In the 9-minute video, Watts hits on some of the issues police say plagued his own marriage with Shanann, like his alleged infidelity with a co-worker. Also this morning, new images of the Watts family said to be on a Myrtle Beach vacation just 2 weeks before the murders. Michelle Catherine Greer snapped these photos and spoke with Shanann while their children played.
It looks like he was more interested in the phone versus watching his daughter jump on the trampoline.
And coming up at 7 a.m., Dan Abrams and Nancy Grace weigh in live. With your GMA First Look, I'm Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
The day after chemo shouldn't mean going back to the doctor just for a shot. With Neulasta Onpro, patients get their day back. To be with family or just to sleep in. Strong chemo can put you at risk of serious infection. In a key study, Neulasta reduced the risk of infection from 17% to 1%, a 94% decrease. Neulasta Onpro is designed to deliver Neulasta the day after chemo and is used by most patients today.
Neulasta is for certain cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to it, or Neupogen, filgrastim. An incomplete dose could increase infection risk. Ruptured spleen, sometimes fatal, as well as serious lung problems, allergic reactions, kidney injuries, and capillary leak syndrome have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, or allergic reactions to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
Ask your doctor about Neulasta Onpro. Pay no more than $5 per dose with copay card.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like Be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts. Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Hunger is a growing problem in our area, and a huge number of Suncoast residents are suffering in silence.
It could be your coworker,
your child's classmate,
or your friend fighting to secure their next meal. But you can help.
ABC7 is partnering with local organizations to help feed the Suncoast.
Go to mysuncoast.com/hunger to join the fight. Help us.
Help the hungry.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
Red tide continues to hurt businesses here on the Suncoast. We'll tell you how it affects those who rent to snowbirds and vacationers. A Suncoast resident says he has the cure for red tide. We'll look at his proposal. And Special Olympians from across Florida will compete this weekend in stand-up paddleboarding right here in Sarasota County. Good morning, Suncoast, and your first alert forecast begins right now. Good morning, folks. It is 6:31, August 24th, Friday. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie is off today. John Scalzi has details of that big weekend forecast, sir.
Yeah, kind of a transition day for us as we develop that easterly wind flow once again, which is kind of typical for this time of year. We've got some showers out in the Gulf. They're tending to stay that way, though. We have now a little bit more of a southeasterly wind flow kind of pushing these storms parallel to the coast. It's possible that as we get into around 9 o'clock or so, we could see a few of the showers kind of brush the coastline as they move into inland areas where the heaviest rain will fall. We'll look for 76 degrees in Wauchula, 77 Arcadia, 76 Mayaca, Sarasota, Bradenton. Venice and Inglewood both coming in at 79 degrees, so there are some warmer temperatures around, but basically we're looking at a couple of degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago, thanks to the establishment, or the beginnings of the establishment, of that easterly wind flow. Forecast calls for about a 10% chance of a 9 a.m. shower, about a 20% chance of a noon shower, that mostly around the interstate corridor, and then excellent chances later on this afternoon of thunderstorms building in inland areas and then gradually drifting back to the coast. Complete forecast for you. Coming up in a few.
All right, John, checking first alert traffic right now. Here's a live look at 301 and State Road 70. This is in the southern tier of Manatee County. There's some buildup there. You can see it right now. Cars queuing up to come south toward University Parkway. So a busy spot there at 6:32 a.m. Let's go to the maps now. You'll see that State Road 64, where it's called Manatee Avenue West, has some congestion as you travel through West Bradenton. Otherwise, not too bad so far. Fridays are usually lighter. This is no exception. Fruitville Road, eastbound there around Honore, some congestion there. And then checking our final map to the south, we'll see a little bit of a buildup there on 41 southbound as you travel from Nokomis down toward Venice. Well, we often describe the Suncoast as paradise. I know I like to, but right now paradise doesn't smell very good. When the winds shift, the smell of red tide carries for miles, even all the way to Mayaca City, which is 25 miles inland off the coast. According to Mote Marine Laboratory, the stench is not from red tide, it's from the dead fish.
This is the first time I've actually smelled it east of I-75. I've been in Florida since '91, and I've never smelled it come this far before. It's really bad this year.
Some downtown Sarasota businesses are lighting candles and incense to mask the smell because it has now seeped inside their stores, causing some customers to stay away. It's not just killing tons of sea life and causing us to change our routines, it's also bad for business in a big way. Our Marla Spence talked to some people who actually have to rent to snowbirds and tourists. Marla?
Ray, many seasonal residents won't make their way down to the Suncoast until about October and November, but one broker and vice president of a property rental company says she's concerned about current bookings and how the red tide will impact business. Tanya Izzo of Stringer Management in Sarasota has been renting vacation properties for 27 years, and she tells us she's never seen red tide this severe. She says red tide has been a hot topic in her office since it began within the past few months. Izzo also tells us that she and her colleagues does not know what to expect this season as the Suncoast experienced the effects of red tide. All things that she's concerned about is mostly about her company's furnished properties because those are the homes many snowbirds have already booked, which is the bulk of her business. Izzo tells us just like her, many of her clients renting this season are concerned as well.
We've experienced a few calls, people asking, how long is it going to be? Nobody has that magic wand to tell us how long it'll be. Unfortunately, with red tide, they come here to get out of the cold. So yes, they enjoy our beaches and all of that, but they're still coming here for the warmth. So it's just a decision that they have to make.
And Izzo tells us so far she has not received any cancellations yet for any properties located between Manatee and Sarasota counties. She says basically it's a waiting game to see what her clients will decide. Ray?
All right, thank you, Marla. Sarasota County has now issued a no swim advisory for most of the major beaches in the county. It includes Lido Beach, Brohard Beach, Venice Pier Beach, Siesta Beach, and also Longboat Key Beach. Officials say bacteria found during water quality testing is outside healthy limits, so the beaches are open, but activity in the water is not recommended. A man who has lived on the west coast of Florida for his entire life says he has a way to kill the red tide. Bob Rigby shared his invention yesterday in Englewood. It essentially is an aquatic crop sprayer pulled by 3 boats that would spray a solution of sodium hypochlorite over the bloom. He's been doing this now for 27 years, trying to get attention on this. He says one of the early tests killed the red tide cells within 20 minutes. And for all of our coverage on the red tide outbreak, head to our website. We've got a comprehensive list of all the stories we've done at mysuncoast.com. On to other news now. Gun control activists in Massachusetts have marched 50 miles to gun manufacturer Smith & Wesson. Their mission? To send a message about stricter gun laws. Reporter Duke Casglione tells us what the marchers asked for, and it might surprise you.
This is what democracy looks like.
More than 50 youth activists, including Marjorie Stoneham Douglas high school survivor David Hogg, marching from City Hall in Worcester to Springfield's Smith & Wesson headquarters.
The gun that was used in San Bernardino, the gun that is used in so many mass shootings, the AR-15 and the MP-15, are manufactured at the Smith & Wesson factory here.
The 5-day march will span 50 miles. Vickiana Pettit-Holm, lead organizer for March for Our Lives Boston, says the reason for this is because change is needed.
You can support the Second Amendment and still want to live and still think that there should be stronger gun laws. It's not one of the or the other.
They are not only asking Smith & Wesson to change their policies in regard to assault weapons, but to make a $5 million donation towards researching gun violence.
We're not asking them to move away. That's not the ask here. The ask is that they be responsible and accountable for their actions. So we're not saying move away.
We're not here to elect Democrats. We're not here to elect Republicans. We're here to elect morally just leaders that will represent us as constituents and protect us.
Looking ahead to the weekend here on the Suncoast, Special Olympics will be hosting its annual stand-up paddleboard state competition here. It features Special Olympians from across Florida. It takes place tomorrow at Nathan Benderson Park, starting at 11 a.m. out along the interstate in Sarasota County. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, Irish sex abuse survivors are demanding action from Pope Francis as he arrives in Ireland this weekend. what kind of reception he'll have when he arrives. Here's the forecast now from John Scully.
So we're looking at a possibility of showers and thunderstorms building particularly this afternoon. So I've checked the rain box. Not so much for your commute to work, but for your commute home from work. I think we might see a shower or two along the coastline during the morning hours, but it'll probably be after drive time is completed. And then we'll watch for the showers and thunderstorms to build in inland areas, become stronger, and then gradually drift back to the coast. The complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Like no other. So why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
It's hard to see when you're outside at night. It's time for the Atomic Beam Sunblast, the new solar-powered light that's super bright. Atomic Beam Sunblast lets you add a light anywhere, and the atomic solar panels charge the built-in lithium-ion battery quickly. Then the 180-degree motion sensor turns on the light when you get near and automatically turns off when you disappear. Look, here's a best-selling outdoor solar light, and here's the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast. Get the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast for only $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can double your order and get a second Sunblast, plus our best-selling Atomic Beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Atomic Beam Sunblasts and the Atomic Beam flashlight. Call now.
Call 1-800-431-6640. That's 1-800-431-6640. Or visit mysunblast.com. So call 1-800-431-6640. Order now.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5. Now, your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Air temperature and the dew point value are pretty close together. 76 air temperature, 75 dew point. That brings us high relative humidity. And it feels like it out there right now. Really kind of sticky. Southeast wind or east-southeast wind coming in lightly at about 3. We'll watch this morning, well, I should have put in a 10% chance there, by 9 a.m. of a few scattered showers around nearer the coast. I think between around 10, 11 o'clock, you'll probably see a few showers near the coast. Nothing really heavy. And then as we head into noontime, a much better chance of seeing some showers building along the I-75 corridor. Then as we get into 3 p.m., a much, much better chance of seeing those inland showers blossom, become thunderstorms, some of them relatively large, producing heavy downpours of rain. And then as we head into the evening, some of those inland storms will gradually drift back toward the coast under the influence of a developing east wind. Titan radar right now showing a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Pretty productive, too, on radar this morning, particularly out in the Atlantic waters, and in the southern tip of the state, we're seeing a little bit more showery activity. We have an old trough of low pressure that's kind of still meandering across the region, producing the enhanced rainfall chances this morning. We have a few out in Gulf waters. The general tendency is for that east wind to keep them out there. But as the sea breeze begins to build a little bit earlier on today, we'll watch a few of them work their way closer to the coast. Even have a thunderstorm that's popped up here in the last 10 minutes or so, and that's producing some pretty good light shows, I suspect, for Venice and Inglewood and Rotunda as you look off into Gulf waters. Again, that storm probably not going to do much to impact coastal regions. A general easterly flow over the last several days, or westerly flow rather, about to be replaced by an easterly flow as high pressure builds to our north. That east wind will fire off showers and thunderstorms in inland areas, and then they will gradually drift back to the coastline. So, east wind building, west moving storms this afternoon, and then a good chance of weekend storms as well. The futurecast shows a few scattered showers out in the Gulf. Maybe around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we see a few of them tag the coast. Then they'll build in inland areas east of the interstate and become more numerous. Later in the day, some larger storms will develop, and those will have a general drift back toward the coastline as we head into the evening hours. That'll be a pattern that will be with us right straight through the next, probably 4 or 5 days. Southwest wind at 5 knots, becoming more easterly during the evening and overnight as the sea breeze collapses. We'll look for 91, a daytime high today and tomorrow, with feels like temperatures probably closer to the 100 mark. Good chances of rain each and every day, building mostly inland and then drifting back to the coast. And then over the course of the week ahead, we'll look for that 40 to 50% rain chance. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. 6:45 right now, checking first alert traffic. Here's the scene right now in Manatee County. Some buildup there on 301 northbound. Also Cortez eastbound as you head toward 14th Street West. Otherwise, nothing major right now. Farther south, here's the scene in the northern half of Sarasota County. A little blip there on University Parkway westbound, way up there at the top of your screen. You can almost see it there between Whitfield and Lockwood Ridge. And now checking our final map to the south, a little blip there down by Tuscola Boulevard. I'll stop using that word, I promise, as you travel through Northport in the southern portion of Sarasota County. New this morning, the trade war between the U.S. and China is intensifying, with the U.S. imposing 25% tariffs on top of $16 billion in Chinese goods, all happening just after midnight. Now, China wasted no time responding, issuing retaliatory tariffs against U.S. goods. Both countries have now imposed tariffs on $50 billion of each other's products. President Trump is warning against what he says would happen if he were impeached. It comes as he's learned one of his close longtime friends turned on him. The head of the company that owns the National Enquirer cut a deal to give information on the case against Michael Cohen. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest.
It's been a tough week for President Trump as the political and legal implications grow.
I don't know how you can impeach somebody who's done a great job. I'll tell you what, if I ever got impeached, I think the market would crash. I think everybody would be very poor.
Warning about the prospects of impeachment and still fuming over his former personal attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen, turning against him.
Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair.
But it wasn't just Cohen.
Michael, what's your message to the president?
David Pecker, publisher of the National Enquirer and a friend of President Trump's for more than a decade, has been granted immunity in exchange for cooperating with prosecutors. A source telling ABC News Pecker told investigators he worked with Cohen to buy the silence of women who claimed to have had affairs with Trump and that Trump knew about the deals. They say Pecker worked with Cohen and one or more members of the campaign to help deal with negative stories about Trump's relationships with women. Cohen has admitted to paying hush money to silence former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal and porn star Stormy Daniels, claiming he was directed by the president.
Did you know about the payments?
Later on, I knew. Later on.
Prosecutors say the plan to protect Trump started back in 2015 after he launched his campaign. The Associated Press reports the National Enquirer had a safe full of documents relating to hush money payments and other damaging stories about President Trump. At this point, it's unclear whether federal investigators now have a hold of those documents. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
The 3-year-old from Georgia who died at a New Mexico compound this morning, his father and 4 other suspects are now fighting for their freedom. They want all charges dropped. That's what the 5 adults accused of abusing children at a New Mexico compound are hoping for. Defense attorneys filed motions for their clients yesterday.
These people were white and Christian. Nobody would bat an eye at the idea of faith healing or praying over a body or touching a body and quoting scripture. But when black Muslims do it, there seems to be something nefarious.
The lawyer says the suspects have been in custody now for more than 10 days without a preliminary hearing, which is against the law in New Mexico. Now, one of those suspects will not be brought back to Georgia. No reason yet as to what led to that decision. Looking ahead to the weekend, the Pope is going to Ireland, where sex abuse survivors are demanding action. Pope Francis will visit Ireland for the World Meeting of Families. Sex abuse survivors in Ireland say apologies are important, but what they want from the Pope, firm policies to ensure no one suffers like this ever again. Right now, many churches in Ireland are empty. New this morning, the man who killed John Lennon nearly 40 years ago has been denied parole for a 10th time. Mark David Chapman shot Lennon outside his New York apartment back in 1980. We all recall that. He is currently serving 20 years to life in upstate New York. Now at the age of 63, he went before the New York State Parole Board earlier this week to plead his case. He will not be up for parole again until 2020. What an event that was. Very tragic still. 6:50 right now. We'll update the day's top 7 headlines before 7 o'clock, and also check out some interesting pictures from last night's baseball game in Bradenton. First, here's a live look from New York City. There's the Empire State Building looking south, the Manhattan Island. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7.
Temperatures are rising and the deals are heating up during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota. The Ram 1500 has been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 6 years in a row. Get an all-new 2019 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $24,999, or save big and get up to $13,000 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good night. Be safe.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit HelpSaveTheNextGirl.com and get involved.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Investigate TV tackles the tough topics.
What happened to my life was awful.
When your health is compromised, we investigate.
They are really drug dealers in white coats.
Corporate greed exposed.
How do you trust them to run this program?
The powerful held accountable with in-depth journalism led by award-winning journalist Lee Zurich. We're your watchdog. Search Investigate TV on your Roku device. Download it now.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
Here are your top 7 before 7 a.m. First off, John Scalzi's First Alert weather forecast.
Yeah, so we're looking at some pretty good conditions, I think, over the course of the weekend. We will have more much-needed rainfall around, and those thunderstorms building inland will gradually drift back to the coast. They'll be west movers. That's because of a general easterly wind flow that's developing, and that will be bringing us those good chances of weekend rain. Tropics remain quiet. We have a few scattered showers out in the Gulf waters. Don't think that'll be a big issue for your morning commute. Watch by around 10, 11 o'clock, though, as some of those showers make themselves closer to the coastline before the inland showers begin to blossom. Back to you.
First Alert traffic. Nothing major to report right now. Here is a live shot of cars going north on US 301 at the State Road 70 intersection. Just take it slowly as you head out the doors this morning. Number 3, red tide isn't just impacting sea life, it's also causing problems for vacation property rentals. Although seasonal residents don't come back till the fall, many who have already booked their properties have been calling to find out when red tide will ease up. People would all like to know. Number 4, police arrested this father and son in Sarasota after they say they found them passed out in a hot car with 2 kids in the back seat. Paul Houle Jr. and Paul III are being held at the Sarasota County Jail. Number 5, Sarasota County has issued a no swim advisory for all the major beaches in the area. You can go to the beaches, but the water is now not safe to play in. Number 6, high school football returns to the Suncoast tonight. Highlights of all those games tonight in our weekly wrap-up show that starts tonight at 11:15 right here on ABC 7. Number 7, take me out to the ball game. How about that little sunset last night?
Nice.
This is Lecom Park in Bradenton last night. They've got a beautiful walkway, as you know. They've won awards for this new stadium layout. Went to the game last night. I had a chance to meet these two. This is the general manager in the middle, Rachel Madrigal. She's the general manager, and 2 years ago, she helped guide the team to a championship, and she delivered twins.
How about that?
And that was her husband, Victor, the head groundskeeper, who we'll show again in a second. Great night last night. They've got 3 more home games tonight, Saturday and Sunday matinee, and then 5 more on the road. Great time last night in Bradenton. I saw a lot of our viewers last night who all love John Scalzi.
They love Ray Collins.
Yeah.
A lot of nice weather out there last night. We got some drier air that kind of moved in.
Yeah.
That's gone now. The moisture has returned, and I think we'll see more thunderstorms over the weekend. So let's all remember our lightning safety tip. Hopefully red tide won't be as big an issue.
Yeah, all those winds, I'll tell you. Thanks for watching Good Morning Suncoast. Good Morning America is next. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday.